Hello everyone and welcome to another really wild game from the 2020 Chessable Masters. I didn't think I'd be recording any more videos today, but then this game happened and of course I had to do it, so I hope you guys don't mind. Now it's Daniil Dubov versus Magnus Carlsen and this is their second game from this tournament. Dubov defeated Magnus with the black pieces in the first part of the tournament, and now we have the second game between the two of them, and it's quite the game. So without further ado, let's check it out. Dubov opens with d4, we have knight to f6 by Magnus, knight to f3, d5, and c4 of course, and e6, sorry about that. Sorry, not e6, we don't have the Queen's Gambit Declined or anything like that, we have c6, my bad. Knight to c3, and now e6, so we go into the semi-Slav, we have g3, Dubov prepares to fianchetto his light square bishop, and knight b to d7. We have bishop to g2, and Magnus prepares to castle, bishop to e7, and both players castle. We have castles, and b3. Dubov now is ready to fianchetto his dark square bishop as well, so the two bishops will be or should be very strong. And b6. Magnus wants to develop his light square bishop via this diagonal, as it's it's going to be a bit hard developing it this way. So rook to e1. And now bishop to a6, putting pressure on the c4 pawn, and now Dubov defends it with knight to d2. Defends this, and maybe in the future the two knights can give support to a move like e4. So rook to c8, Carlsen continues development, and bishop to b2. Just nicely developing, and there is one game in the database where bishop to b7 was played, and it's important to mention that it was a game between two 1800 ELO players, so and it's from 2007, so those guys were really onto something, playing such deep engine preparation game in those days. But yeah, here Magnus goes for c5 instead, and it is as of move 11 that we have a completely new game. So he strikes in the center right away, gets rid of his, sort of a weak c6 pawn, and Dubov trades. We have d captures on c5, knight captures, and now b4, kicking the knight away. Knight to e4, here Dubov trades once, knight captures, we have d captures, Magnus here doubles up his e pawn. But it's not that big of a deal, since this knight is stuck for the moment guarding the c4 pawn, since the bishop is attacking it, and also this bishop is attacking the b4 pawn, so Dubov needs to do something about that. He goes for b5, he pushes the bishop back, so bishop to b7, now the b4 is no longer a target, and now e3, just nicely develops his pawn to e3, and bishop to b4 by Magnus, just pinning the knight, so now the knight cannot move as the rook will be under attack. Dubov immediately unpins, rook to e2, and now queen to d3, a nice stifling move that doesn't allow Dubov all that many moves. The knight is still stuck guarding the c4 pawn, the queen is stuck guarding the rook here, so not a lot you can do here. Dubov goes for probably the best idea here, rook to b1, with the threat of just bishop captures knight and then opening up a discovery here on the bishop. So Magnus offers a trade here with bishop to c3. And now what you probably want to do here is capture this, and after, let's say, captures, go rook c1, and white should have a very nice game. Let's say queen back to a3 or to d3, and now it still continues. Point is that you still cannot move the queen since the rook hangs, and once this rook gets developed here, black will again have a very, very pleasant game. So instead of bishop to c3 with captures, Dubov goes for bishop to a3, and this is where the game really starts to get fun. So here rook f to d8 by Magnus. Now the problem is there's a triple attack on the knight here. Now you could defend it with something like bishop to b4, add another defender here. This leaves the c4 pawn vulnerable to rook captures on c4, and now you cannot capture because of just queen captures on d1, so that's the problem. So here after rook f to d8, Dubov defended with rook to b3, now the bishop is pinned, you cannot move it, but now there's a different idea here, so feel free to pause the video here and try to find the best move for black while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on offering a very, very unpleasant queen trade for white. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's queen captures on c4. And now accepting this trade is much easier said than done. For example, if you capture, let's say knight captures on c4, then comes rook captures on d1 with check. You have to block it. You cannot block with the rook, so you have to block with the bishop. And now bishop to d5. And here white is without a move. The knight is threatened and it's not all that easy to move it. Wherever you move it, the bishop can capture it, and then you just play bishop c4 and there is nothing to be done here for white. So you'd have to go for some like captures, but again, after bishop captures on c4, it's all over. But the line goes a bit deeper and it's super fun, so I'm just going to show it. Here white can go for this rook to c2 move, and now of course you cannot capture with the bishop because you'll get checkmated. Well, you won't get checkmated, the bishop can retreat, but you will survive the attack after rook captures on c8. So here black would have to go for captures with check, king g2, and now knight to g4 puts pressure on f2. And now the point is, after rook captures on c4, you have this nice in-between move, rook captures on f2 with check, and after rook captures, now knight captures on e3, checks the king and forks the rook. So after the king moves, you're just gonna gobble up the rook. With the knight or the rook, doesn't really matter. And here, both players have a rook and a minor piece. However, Magnus would be up 3 pawns, which is, of course, completely winning. So this is what happens if you accept the queen trade. So Dubov declines the trade. He goes for queen to e1, gets the queen away from the d file. But the queen isn't all that much happier here, since the knight is still pinned. You still can't move the knight. So here Magnus goes back, queen d5, introduces again a third attacker to the knight here. And here we have finally bishop to b4 by Dubov. This is the strongest defensive move by the engine, and it's still not enough. So once again, pause the video here and try to find the absolute best winning move for black while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on offering your queen yet again. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's queen captures on b3 now. And now, again, there are so many options here for white, but black just grabbed your rook, so you have to decide what you do here. Problem is, if you just trade queens with knight captures, then you've just given up the exchange. Bishop captures, rook captures, and once the rooks go down the board, you know, to become pigs and to gobble everything up, there's just no counterplay here for white. You're down the exchange, your position is worse, and there's not much to look for here. So instead, after this queen captures on b3 by Magnus, Dubov accepts the queen sacrifice and he goes for a captures on b3. But now we have bishop captures on b4, as now you can capture it, and there's still an attack on the knight here. So here Dubov played bishop to f1, and there really aren't all that many moves you can play here. So bishop to f1 was played, but now comes a5 by Magnus. And it's a good idea, since Dubov kind of could have gone for a queen to a1. He could have given up the knight for maybe some queen captures on a7 counterplay, but it still wouldn't be enough. Here, Magnus goes for a5, and you cannot capture it. If you capture en passant, then just bishop captures, and there's, well, not much you can do here. The rook is stuck there. You're just going to gobble up more material. You're going to eliminate this guy. Then you've removed the defender of the knight. You're going to get rid of the knight as well. Everything falls apart. So here, Dubov played queen to d1. Again, there's nothing you can play here, and you still cannot move the rook. Problem is, Dubov is also very low on time. Carlsen has some almost 5 minutes, and Dubov is around 30 seconds on the clock. So it's not easy to make a move because you're low on time, but also there is no move to be made. And here, to finish the game nicely, Magnus just played h6. We reached the position from the thumbnail, and it was also in this position that Daniil Dubov resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So there is no move for white to be played. Like, you could waste some moves with the pawns, but at some point the position will block itself. So you don't really gain anything by pushing the pawns without you know, making any sense. And everything else just loses. Like if you try queen e1 unpinning, you still haven't unpinned because the knight is under attack still. Just rook c2, you add a third attacker, and you're just gonna pick up the knight and win the game easily. On the other hand, after h6, you could try something like, let's say, rook to e1, but again, doesn't help you. You're just gonna lose the knight here. So you could try something like bishop to g2 to keep the tension and everything going on, but white is still without a move. Just rook d7, you're gonna double up here, and you're gonna win the knight again. There is no move to be played. Bishop f1, rook here, and you're just gonna win the game easily. And for those of you who are maybe new to the channel or new to chess in general, if you're thinking about, okay, but I still have a queen, why not just give up the knight? Let's play something like just move the queen, let's say to b1, and we give up the knight. The problem is, after, let's say, the knight is captured and you play something, let's say bishop back to c3, yes, you still have a queen, but black has a bishop, a knight, and a rook for your queen. And usually, sometimes even 2 pieces are too much for the queen to handle if the position is right. 3 pieces for the queen, 3 pieces are basically always a go. But 2 minor pieces and the rook, that's just overwhelming for the queen. So that of course, both Dubov and Magnus know that this is unplayable for white. So yeah, after this queen d1, and it's very interesting, you could have played like any move here and your position is still overwhelming and winning, but this is this h6 really a poetic way to end the game, and Dubov agrees. He doesn't want to overdrag it, and he allows the game to finish in 25 moves. So very exciting stuff. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. I always enjoy when there's like a Zugzwang happening like on move 20-25 with a lot of pieces on the board, with at least 1 queen still on the board. So it was, well, I enjoyed it very much. I do hope you enjoyed it as well. So I would like to thank Robert Irmel, Alex Wolf, Barry Bloom, Thomas Dube, and Andrew Bergman for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Chessable Masters 2020, checking up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your Monday.